Hi, my name is Paul Silverman, a realtor here in Houston, and for our buyer and seller series videos, I wanted to do one on home inspection. So we're going to go through kind of some of the general questions people usually ask, and we're going to answer them. So the first question is, what is the purpose of a home inspection? And it's very basic. The purpose of a home inspection is to try to reveal any obvious or visible defects in the home. So they can't look inside a slab, they can't really look inside walls. So it's just kind of a general overview and what's visual that's wrong with the home. Next thing is, how far can the inspector go in examining a property? So again, they can't look inside a slab. A good example is, let's say, an air conditioning system. So they can check the temperature that's coming out of the vents, but they can't really go in and disassemble a closed system. So there are some limitations on what they can do, which kind of leads to the next question of what kind of warranty or liability does an inspector have? And all inspectors in Texas have to carry errors and omissions insurance. So again, a good example is, let's take an air conditioner and it has a closed heating unit that they can't see inside. They wouldn't be liable if, let's say, that heat exchanger was broken because it's not something they could see. Kind of on the other hand is, if they reported that a dishwasher was working perfectly and there was no dishwasher installed, then they would have some liability. So again, it's kind of a fine line in what they're liable for and what they're not. But generally, they're looking at things that they can see. So next thing is what is the difference between a home inspector and an engineer? So a home inspector is licensed by TREC. They've taken a series of courses and passed a test, and they're there to look at kind of structural, functional, and mechanical questions. So a good example is, if you have a big crack in sheetrock or a big crack in a brick, the inspector will probably say that it needs to be examined by a licensed engineer, because they can go in and do a little bit more in-depth calculations and look at things from an engineering standpoint, whereas an inspector kind of has a little bit more limited scope. So that kind of leads to, again, who can perform an inspection. And again, all inspectors in Texas have to be licensed. And with engineers, they can also perform inspections as well. So another thing is what's included and what's not included in the inspection. So we kind of go back to the original question about what's visible. So what you'll really want to clarify in home inspections is, what exactly are you paying for? It's kind of understood that normally you get the structural and mechanical inspections, but there are other items in a home, like a sprinkler system or a termite inspection, things like that that don't normally fall within everything that's included for a home inspector. So again, you'll really want to not just go with the cheapest, you'll really want to look at what they include. Some inspectors nowadays will include termite inspections with it, some don't. So again, look at everything they offer and evaluate exactly what you need. So another thing is, when it comes to inspections, they'll have the reports and they'll talk about how it lacks certain things that are code today. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, the state of Texas makes them inspect the home as if it was built today in today's code. So a good thing is, arc fault interrupters weren't code until a few years ago. So if your home was built in, let's say, 1995, it won't have them, yet it will appear on the report. So a real important thing to go over is, that I recommend to my clients, is what code is today, and maybe ask the inspector, if it's not in, was this code at the time? A lot of the ones that have been in business for a long time will be able to answer that. Maybe some of the newer ones might or might not. So it's an important thing to know. So next question is termite inspections and when you should perform one. So please note, there is a little bit of different terms. We now call them wood destroying insect inspections, not termites, because what we found is there's other bugs that destroy wood other than termites, so they wanted to kind of expand the scope. Before Tropical Storm Allison, termite damage in Texas accounted for more damage than fire, flood, and all perils combined. So it's very, very important. And so a lot of times people ask me, well, Paul, I'm buying a new home, why would I need a termite inspection? I personally, back in the days of when I was a superintendent, saw termites infesting a home that was not even complete yet. So some of the municipalities will make them treat the soil before the slab is poured, some don't, but again, I think it's a great idea for usually $100, $150 to just kind of have that assurance that there's no visible signs of termites, because once they're in, they can cause a whole lot of damage. So next thing I get asked a lot is, do I need a mold inspection? And really, that's kind of personal preference. The way mold inspections work normally is, they will take air samplings. They'll take an air sampling outside and they'll take some inside, depending on the size of the home or maybe where the problem is. So what they'll do is they compare the numbers to make sure the mold inside is not greater than the mold outside that we're breathing. And what I usually encourage people to do is, if there's any question, definitely get one. They're not that expensive, especially if there's any signs, like let's say you see maybe some mold on sheetrock, mold on AC vents. I would normally suggest one, and especially if there's some sign that you're concerned there might be mold growth inside the home. Next is, what is a hydrostatic test or an isolation test? So what a lot of people don't know is in older homes, they were built with cast iron plumbing pipes. And unfortunately, the lifespan is only about 50 or 60 years. And as those pipes get older, they age from the inside and start to corrode and rust. And one of the bad things, not only do you not want sewer water channeling underneath the slab, but it can also erode soil and cause foundation problems. So what I recommend is any home that has cast iron piping, get some type of test on the pipe, something to be able to judge whether those pipes are holding water or not, because again, it's not just an issue of water, it's an issue of foundation failure. So next thing we hear a lot, especially from people that move up north, is, do we need radon test? My opinion in Texas is we have very little radon. Radon is caused from decaying rock. It's very, very odd that we see that here in Texas. Once in a while, you'll hear reports that will pop up about granite, but again, we don't really have that here, so it's not really that big of a concern. Next is stucco. Stucco is a big, big thing that used to cause problems a long time ago with the advent of EIFS, or kind of a false stucco. So what I encourage people to do is, if you have a stucco home, definitely get it inspected, because we're looking for a few things. First of all, is it traditional stucco or is it the synthetic stucco? That can be a problem in itself. And even on regular stucco or traditional stucco, there could be a lot of problems when it comes to looking at flashing or the way things terminate into one or another, that the stucco could be good, but if the flashing that holds water back is bad, it can lead to a whole lot of problems as well. Next thing I get is, does a new home need to be inspected? Just about 3 days ago, I went on an inspection of a new home, and the inspector found roughly about 20 things wrong that needed to be addressed. So even if it's brand new, it doesn't matter, it still needs an inspection. And finally, the last one is, what should you look for in a home inspector? There's a lot of things I would look for. Maybe friends that have used one that can speak very highly of one, or maybe get a referral from your agent. There's a lot of different things, but an inspector is not something we're going to want to pick based on price or a lack of knowledge of what they do, or someone, be it a friend, family, or your agent, has actually performed an inspection for. So I think that's a good rough idea of what to look for home inspections, and please feel free to contact me with any additional questions. Thank you.